food and lifestyle authority who cooks, sews, grows, writes, broadcasts, and advises and runs a multi-million-dollar empire based on her taste. She's Martha Stewart. And Martha's restaurant pick sits at the corner of Central Park West and Columbus Circle in the Trump International Hotel and Tower. It's Jean Georges, a four-star restaurant that the New York Times called a subtle revolution in dining, the vision of culinary wizard Jean Georges von Gerishka. So join me at the corner table for Jean Georges' four-course tasting menu with the woman Time magazine called one of the 25 most influential people in America. The queen of all media, Martha Stewart. Martha met me for our corner table reservation at 1:30 on the dot. Martha Stewart, welcome to the corner table at Jean Georges. A pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Great table. Great restaurant.
Great guest. Thank you very much. Before we start, and we have four courses on the way, and we're both about, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hungry are you?
Very.
Me too.
I didn't have anything today
Dangerously
in preparation for this.
I want to ask this. You are, in my estimation, the queen of all media, from the television and radio and the website, the books, the publishing. Martha, how far can this go? Do you see an international operation, intergalactic? What do you think?
Well, at least now we'll go international. And we've already made some inroads in that with the books, with the television. And this past week, the Sunday Telegraph in London had a very nice excerpt, and we're going to continue to do those kinds of introductory articles in foreign countries so that they get to know us and our product and our magazine.
The world, in a way, if you're a teacher, the world theoretically can be your classroom.
I hope so.
Good. Well, since we're hungry, let's get some food.
Okay.
First course on our tasting menu of 8 dishes: eggs au caviar and foie gras and duck prosciutto roulade with black mission figs.
How about you?
Oh, yes, and this is gossamer. The most beautiful caviar eggs. Look at these. The most perfect gray beluga
Caviar.
pearls. So pretty.
Martha, can you remember, going back to little girl from Nutley, New Jersey, do you remember the first time you had caviar?
Let me
Or is
see.
it so many
Well, it wasn't
eggs ago
foreign.
that...
No, it was not foreign to us.
Uh-huh.
Even though we were, very unwealthy, put it that way, very almost poor, with 6 children and a teacher father, we were introduced to all kinds of food. So if it wasn't beluga caviar, it was certainly the salmon roe caviar.
Salmon roe caviar are the things that you could actually get in the supermarket.
And I quickly developed my taste for the best caviar, the best of everything.
Well, we first met, if my memory serves me correctly, when I was doing a show called Midday.
Oh, yes.
And you published one of your very early books, Pies and Tarts. So I always have this early Pies and Tarts association with Martha Stewart.
How many pies did we bring? Do you remember?
Well, pie eating is my personal hobby, so whatever you brought was enough for me. It is my hobby. I love pies.
Oh, so do I.
And I'm wondering, though, since that was a television demo all those years ago, you've done hundreds, if not thousands, of food things on television. What's the wackiest thing that's happened over the course of Martha Stewart's career in front of the camera?
Well, wacky, and kind of horrible, is I ate a nut.
You ate a nut.
And I sort of started to choke on it and lost my voice on a live segment on CBS. That is not only embarrassing, it is quite unacceptable.
And it's one of those times when time stretches, like 5 seconds seems like 5 minutes. 10 seconds.
The worst.
This is a good question to ask now. How have you modified eating on camera based on that experience?
It'll happen again.
You ready for course number 2?
Oh, of course.
All right.
Of course. Don't leave that. Eat that.
No, I'm going to eat it. Would you have a little taste for you?
Okay, just a touch.
Well, we'll have...
Next, autumn salad with porcini, foie gras, and artichoke, and sea scallops with caper raisin emulsion and cauliflower.
Now, I'd like to ask a couple of non-food questions. What if anything, is in your CD player at home right now?
If anything...
What have you been listening to recently?
Oh, well, I sort of have a problem. I'm into opera right now, so I listen to a lot of opera. But then when friends come over, it's kind of distracting to have the opera. So then I put in other things. But I listen to public radio a lot, so they have pretty good music, pretty good selection.
Well, you get some jazz on public radio, get pop, could be some folk. All right. What is Martha Stewart's all-time favorite movie?
My all-time favorite.
Your all-time favorite movie? One or two?
Well, I'm a great movie-goer, so I probably have a million favorite movies, depending. Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove. I always remember that last scene where he's riding down on the bomb.
I like that movie. I like 2001 very much because I was very fascinated with the computer.
Hal.
And you know what Hal's that was? Do you know why he was called Hal?
No.
Well, because it was an IBM computer, but they couldn't call it an IBM, so they took the letter before I, which was H, A would before B.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's why it was Hal.
Martha Stewart's day begins in the gym at 5:30 a.m.
Let me back up. There are many people who would like to do that. They'd like the alarm to go off early, and they wish in their fantasy world they could be at the gym or even working out in their own home if they can't go to a gym or have a trainer. What's the resolve that makes you do it? Because that's the difference between a successful person and the person who just thinks they should be doing it.
Well, if I don't do it, I don't feel great. I come here and have lunch with wine and foie gras.
Four courses, right?
Yeah, if I don't go to the gym, it's going to be a problem for me. Here, you taste this. It is
Thank you very
good.
much.
I gave you a little bit of everything there.
A little bit of everything is exactly what I mean, sometimes I like a lot of everything, too. There's one good salad.
Let me taste that.
So let's see how that very good autumn salad with porcini, foie gras, and artichokes is composed by going into the open kitchen and meeting the maestro, Jean George, who's on a constant search for new flavors.
Flavor-wise, we bring in some new flavors with wild edible herbs. I took a couple of classes about wild herbs, and I go foraging a couple times a month to get some new flavors like root sorrel, we have yarrow, chickweed, all kind of new type of herbs.
And the salad. Slice the porcini mushrooms.
I'm going to saute everything in the
foie
order.
gras,
So we're going to start with the porcini.
And the artichokes.
Right here.
Prepare the foie gras in a hot, dry pan. And saute the artichokes and mushrooms in separate pans with olive oil. On a large plate, arrange several different kinds of fresh greens and place the artichokes and the porcinis on the greens, topping with foie gras.
Right on top. We're going to sprinkle some chopped walnut everywhere. Some pomegranate seeds. Very important, we're going to add some coarse salt. I don't season the foie gras, it's the only thing I don't season, because if you season it, when it melts in the pan, you're losing the seasoning. So you want to season the foie gras at the last second with a little coarse salt, pepper. This is a vinaigrette composed with soy sauce, truffle juice, lemon juice, and olive oil. It's easy to put the vinaigrette in a bottle. It's easy to emulsify. And then I finish it with some bâtonnet of chives. There we go.
One other non-food related question. Like me, you are divorced. Do you have any interest in remarrying again?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'd like to get married. I have a nice, interesting life. It would be very nice to share that.
Share it with someone.
And yet, it has to be a really special person because it's sort of a crazy, interesting life. And nice to have dinner and nice to have lunch.
Sharing.
Yes. But the chaos that sort of surrounds everything is a little hard to take, I think.
Well, you are a mogul. You run a huge corporation. Would the man you'd be interested in have to be an equal? Would he have to be a mogul?
No, probably better if you weren't.
He could just have like a really good show on cable?
How about Gardner?
Gardner?
Are you proposing to me at lunch?
Well, no, it just occurred to me that if a mogul isn't needed, but I don't do gardening. That's the only.
You don't?
No. Well, why don't we take a little break, then we'll drink to that confusion,
Okay.
and we'll be back with course number 3 right after this.
Welcome back to our lunch with Martha Stewart at John George Restaurant in Manhattan. Our third course, lobster tartine with pumpkin seed fenugreek broth and turbo in a Chateau Chalon sauce.
You know, it's just wonderful food. And the same with this place. I mean, this is just beautiful. The flavors are so extraordinary. How's your turbo?
Turbo is wonderful, and the fact that I'm looking at a sauce, a Chalon sauce, that is not as heavy as traditional sauces is exactly what I want.
Martha's created a new cookbook, Martha Stewart's Healthy Quick Cook, with recipes that trim fat and intensify flavor.
Don't you think that in and out of the food world, if you say to people that you're talking about healthy food, if you say healthy quick menus, that some people think that they're being deprived?
Well, in many instances, many cookbooks that say they are light cooking, low calorie cooking, the food is really mediocre.
What makes it so in your view, in those
it's just
recipes?
not interesting. I mean, you can eat, you know, a broiled piece of fish and not experience the same flavor as if you would poach that fish with fresh herbs and in a Chinese bamboo steamer and have something extraordinary and dress it up with the most delicious sauce. So I try to eat with what I call enlightened flavors.
A double meaning, for
Right,
sure.
a double meaning, like light and yet enlightened also.
Well,
new and important.
How has both your cooking style as well as your personal eating habits, how have they evolved over the years?
Well, I will spend less and less time in the kitchen. So my cooking techniques have become faster and faster.
Right.
So, because I don't have time. But I find that you can really prepare an extraordinary meal in 15 minutes even. You know, the more flavors you can just interject into a meal. So that's what I try to do. And I try to use less butter, less cream, less of all the bad things, which are still very important to cooking. So it's all in moderation.
What do you say to someone like, I'm just thinking of Julia Child, who's always been such a wonderful exponent of butter. I love the butter and the cream.
Oh, but her kind of cooking needs butter.
Needs that, yeah. Classic.
And you just can't make puff pastry without butter. It
No.
just doesn't taste good.
Not too puffy.
So if you're going to use puff pastry, use a lot less of it. But you use the same puff pastry.
In the book, Martha says she's been influenced by the cooking of great chefs Nobu Matsuhisa, Alain Ducasse, Daniel Boulud, and our host, John George Vanger Richten.
Well, there are chefs who are very concerned with the kind of eating for us, the busy working person who really wants to enjoy the great flavors and without getting fat.
A perfect cue for our fourth course, lamb with an herb crust and Muscovy duck steak with
with a sweet and sour jus, with a
And do you
poached pear.
see this wonderful little thing they have to hold the little drumstick? Isn't that cute?
Martha?
I
That's the
love
sort of thing
that.
you would invent if it didn't already
If it
exist.
didn't exist, well, that it exists here at Jean Georges is very elegant.
I must
think.
say that it's one of my first encounters with a drumstick holder in my life.
Things weren't so happy months ago at the publication of an unauthorized biography.
Back on the personal front, several months ago there was a really mean book written about you, really mean. And for about a 2-week period, there was stuff all over the media. I don't want to get into what was in that and so forth, but what I'm really curious about is how you dealt with, being the center of attention when there's so much negative.
Did you notice any remarks by me about
No,
that book?
no.
That's how you deal with it.
Like just physically putting it out of your mind, because there's so many times that things come into people's lives that are negative, and
it's a great challenge in life is dealing frequently with the negative things that you have to face.
Well, I just couldn't do what I have to do if I were depressed or thought about these silly intrusions on my life or lifestyle. I'm doing really nice things every single day, and there's no reason to waste any energy on that negative stuff.
So to be above it.
Yeah, it's a peculiar thing about mostly journalists, that they will try to break down people who have been
Up there, or are up there.
No, not even up there, who try to do good things. They just want to just knock you down, make you sort of like what they think is normal, and that's not nice.
But dessert sure is nice. And up next, we've got plenty. Plus, Martha's new house. Did I just hear you say that you have a kiwi vine growing in your new house? No one has a kiwi vine.
Yes, the whole house is covered with these.
It's dessert at Jean Georges. Hot Verona chocolate cake, apple confit, and a kiwi tart with a kiwi baked into a cookie. Did I just hear you say that you have a kiwi vine growing in your new house? No one has a kiwi vine.
Yes, the whole house is covered with these, they're ancient, they're 1925 vines, and they have all these baby, just like this, these little...
Baby kiwis?
They taste that, it's so good.
And now, is this the house I heard about in Maine?
Yeah.
That has 50 bedrooms or sleep 50 people? It's one of those huge houses?
It's beautiful.
Wow. Congratulations on that. Martha, if we could, hypothetically, like
He's
Star
talking,
Trek,
I'm eating my food.
I'm hammering away at the inside of a warm chocolate cake. If you could be like Star Trek, beamed up and beamed down, anywhere on Earth tonight, where would you like to be having dinner? You've got the world as your potential restaurant. Where would you like to go? With whom would you like to be having dinner?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you that.
Okay, that's all right. And what would you like to be having?
Well, tonight?
Tonight.
I have a couple favorite places that I really love. I love this. We just happened to mention to our waiter, who comes from Antibes, there's this wonderful little restaurant on the coast in the south of France called Tétu, where they serve the best bouillabaisse. I'd like to be there.
South of France.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to be in a mountain town in Italy having white truffles, because it's white truffle season right now. So I could just easily be transported to somewhere in Tuscany right tonight.
All right.
Let me see, where else could I go?
You could actually do this.
Oh,
if you
yes.
wanted
I
to.
could go to Japan. There's a little island in Japan that I like very much where uni is like the common food. I could just have some uni tonight.
That's enough. I'm ready.
No difficulty. Just transport.
What do you think, if you look into the future, I mean the future, 40 years down the line, a generation and a half, 2 generations, what do you think the American home and kitchen is going to be like then? You have a sense of the direction?
I hope it's more like what it used to be than what it is now. I hope it's the center of the home. I hope that people are still eating delicious foodstuffs. I hope that food is available in quantity.
All we need.
That's good. That fast food has made way for better, healthier food.
If we could come back to this table in 10 years hence, what do you want to be able to say about the period of time that's passed? 10 years from today. We sit down at this table, what's happening?
I want to know that Jean Georges is alive and well.
Good.
And still making his fabulous kiwi cookies and experimenting with the flavors and the tastes as he's done in the last 5 years since I've really experienced his cooking.
How about you? What do you want to be able to say about your life 10 years hence?
I'm going to say that there are many, many people who rely on me for information, that they access that information in every single way they can, whichever way they need to, and that I can help them with something.
Helping is excellent. Well, I'd like to close each show with a toast, right here to folks watching, if you will. I'd like you to propose a toast to our Food Network viewers.
Bon appetit and enjoy life. to the fullest.
To the fullest. Martha Stewart, thank you for joining us here at the corner table. It was good, wasn't it?
It was delicious.
It was very
We haven't even touched that one yet.